Hello and welcome to Stockton Junction. This is the next video, which is working on the permanent way depot area. I'm actually filming this in the middle of doing the track airbrushing for one simple reason. So for this area, as you can see, I've built these things, sillages, stylages, I'm not sure what you call them, but for putting the gravel and sand and coal and stuff in for the depot area. And I laid down, there's a lot of loose stone here that's blown around when I was airbrushing, but I've put down a mixture of two types of tile grout, and as you can see, there's like tyre tracks and that where I've run the vehicles through the grout to try and get it all nice before I did exactly the same process as ballasting. So I sprayed it with isopropyl alcohol and then used a dropper to put a 50-50 PVA mix on it, which was the normal same mix that I'd make for doing the ballasting, with only one slight difference. I ran out of Mod Podge mat, which I always use. I went to the shop, they didn't have any, so I used some standard cheap PVA, and as you can see, we've had a bit of a problem. Most of it's gone all right. There's a few bits of white though that have come up, which is from the PVA residue on the top, and this is one of the reasons I use the Mod Podge, because it doesn't do things like this. So the reason I'm filming this in the middle of doing the track video, as you can see that's not finished, which you'll have already seen finished in the previous video, is because while I've got the sleeper grime out, I'm going to use it to cover some of this up, and then for the next part of this video we're going to use some other colours and get some tones down just to make this look a bit better, more like a real yard. So all I'm going to do is, I've got some sleeper grime already in the airbrush, and I'm just literally going to try and cover, and of course and it would be, my pot's just emptied of paint as I'm filming, which is pretty typical. So I shall sort that out, set the camera up, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, so I filled the pot up. I'm just going to move the compressor over a tiny bit so I've got a bit more room to move. And I've got to say, this K-Moon compressor and airbrush are absolutely brilliant. I've had no problems whatsoever with them. All I want to do is get rid of this paleness to start with. I'm going to use some other brown things and some other colours later, but I want a bit of patchiness, but I just don't want that white on there. So this is why these air compressors are so good, you know, these air brushes, because oh, excuse me, you know, if you were to try and do this by hand, it would probably take you quite a long time. In fact, after seeing how well that's come out, I'm quite impressed. We'll give you a better look on it in a minute. I'm just going to do this section so that it matches. We don't want odd pieces. And it actually blends in quite well with the background surroundings anyway. Don't need to do this bit, but I'm just going to give it a bit anyway. Right, so just put my airbrush in its holder and we'll have a look and already that's transformed that area. Obviously it's a bit wet still, but I think that's transformed that already. In fact, I'm actually pretty impressed with it exactly how it is. I quite like that. But I still will add some more bits. I've got a lot of furniture, so to speak, as in items to put in this area, and I think it looks pretty good. And it's my pre-weathered JCB, which is just going to go here somewhere, which obviously I've as you can see, I've done quite a bit of weathering on. I think it looks pretty good. And for those of you that may be interested, I'm actually going to be doing in the near future a small sideline business, more of a hobby business. I'm going to be buying products like this, weathering them like this, and selling them done exactly like that. So saves for the people that are maybe not as experienced or don't want to risk doing things like this. It might be of use. So obviously there are people out there that don't have the ability or the time or the materials to do it and would rather just buy something like that. So let me know what you think on that one. So anyway, we will carry on with this video later on. I need to go back and finish the other video. As I said, I just did this one because I needed to use the same paint that I was already using on the track work. And I will see you all shortly. Thanks for watching so far. So you join me back for the depot area, and I've done quite a lot of work in this area. And what I'll do is I'll show you from the beginning. Obviously you've seen the last video with the static grass area. As you can see, this is all now dried, and you can get a good idea of how it comes out. I think it looks pretty good. As you can see, I've now fitted a fence along there, so we'll start from the left and go through. So this is the area for the guys to do their practice work on. So we've got a point, a slip point, a couple of different relay boxes for them to work on. They've also got an AWS ramp there, and there's 3 lots of machinery there for that they're working on at the moment. Obviously I've got to put the figures in, which I haven't got yet, so I'm not in a rush for those, just to complete the scene off for this area. As you can see, I've got some of the scale model scenery clamp style railings, which are going to go along behind the siding line there to protect the workers. So that will go all the way along there up to where the little van is that's for the workers there. Building a little generator station here, so I've still got to finish the fencing off around there in the gates. And this generator was a resin generator that I've painted up. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously I've got to do that, and the flooring for that, which will just be some stone. Usually quite often they're either concrete bases or stone. So I've got the scale model scenery. So I'm just going to move around a little bit. I've got the scale model scenery porter cabin there. I'm trying to get a view around the front. As you can see, I've got a worker just coming out. A couple of cones there to stop any vehicles getting too close to the door. And there's also another worker in the doorway. But what I've done is I haven't actually put the roof on yet, because as you can see, I've got scale model scenery chairs and tables in there. I've got a light hidden behind the door, which is still to be wired up, but I want to put some bits and posters in there, and probably a kitchen area down this end for the workers to have their cup of tea. So quite a lot. And carrying on round, I've got the scale model scenery cable drums there. They're pretty good kit, easy to build. The frameworks these are a little bit fiddly to stick on, but they're not hard, pretty good. So we've got the model railway scenes, toilet there, and these drums. I'll just move this vehicle out of the way a minute. So I've got a Backman line side pallet there. This, I can't remember what company I got that from now. Yeah, little water container thing. Got some more model railway scenery drums that I painted up, which are in one of my previous videos. The pallet stacks are from Scale Model Scenery. These are all glued down. They come in stacks like this, so obviously I've doubled these ones up just to make it look a bit better. And a little pallet truck right in front of them. I've got these water cable pipes, which they might use for doing drainage works and stuff. So these are from Scale Model Scenery again. I've also got these bags. I can't remember what they're called now, which I've put. They come with the gravel. They're pretty good, but I've weathered them up so they make look a bit used. And I put some sand in a couple of them as well. Oh, that one's not glued. The rest are glued down. So going along, I've got this storage area that I made, and that was made out of just pieces of card cut into squares, or slight off squares. They're a bit longer than they are tall. Covered in Scale Model Scenery wrap, which was part of a concrete bridge kit, and I thought they looked pretty good because it's got some weathering and stuff on it already. And then I made the posts out of H-beam, plastic card H-beam, and painted them, weathered those. So, and then all I did was used some of the foam, this stuff, which is my usual for doing hills, to make some sort of like angled pieces in there, which I carved to shape, and then I've stuck down and glued using the same base glue as you would for your ballasting. For the coal, the sand, there's gravel and ballast for the various different jobs they might need to do on the railway. So the idea is that the train with the sea-cow wagons will come in, the JCB, which is weathered by myself, which is Oxford die-cast 1980s JCB. That would load up, hopefully it would anyway, if it reaches in there, it would load up the wagon with ballast, or the little wagons with whatever they needed, ready to be taken off around the railway for the work that needs to be done. So moving along, I've got this, which is off a permanent weight vehicle. It's a plastic sort of body. I can't remember, I got it off eBay in a job lot of things, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it balanced up on wood like that. It's a spare sort of body for when they need it for the vehicles. Maybe they use it as a store at the moment. Things like that are seen around on the railways back in those days. I've got this, which is an old, I believe it was a Falla skip. It's a big metal skip or something, so I'm going to use that. It needs finish painting it, but I'm just putting it there to show you where things going. Another product that I've recently bought from Scale Model Scenery is this coping. Don't know if you can see it very well. I'll just move the camera around. Might be better to view it up this side. There we go. Looks pretty good. All I did was took it straight out of the packet and gave it a bit of a weather with a dark wash, and it comes up really nice. Looks brilliant on top of my walling, which is just, the walling here is literally just card with Scale Model Scenery brick paper stuck over the top. So I've still got to finish taking some of the excess of this off. In fact, that one hasn't glued down very well, but I might have to rework some of that. Right, so we have the Roy buffer stops here, and this area here is going to be the coaling area for any preservation locos, and approximately here there's going to be a water tower, so any vehicles coming into the area, hence why there's a sort of, in fact I might have to move this skip somewhere else, or this, because they're not going to fit. They might have to go over that side. As you can see, there's sort of tracks coming round, because over here there's going to be a water tower, so that breaks off that left hand section a little bit. So this end here is for any steam trains they need to do stuff on. So I've got to decide where I'm going to put these two now, because they probably won't actually fit there. I forgot about that. There might be some room up the other end easily enough. Right, so I've got a selection of permanent way British Rail vehicles, which you can see I've weathered up. And as you can see, I've had a little problem here. I was literally just hoovering off the static grass, and this big chunk of plaster just came straight out up into the hoover. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to infill that with some paint, and hopefully seal it and leave it as it is, because let's face it, back in the 80s you'd often find big potholes or repair patches and things like that. So again, another Oxford vehicle, which you can see I've weathered up. I think that looks pretty good, a lot different from how it comes out the box. So moving on, this is a scale model scenery building, well actually two joined together. And what I've done is, on this side, I've covered the whole thing in brick paper. It does come with brick marking embossed onto the MDF, but I was having a nightmare of a job trying to get a good wash to go into the grain. It's not one of my strong points. So what I did, just covered the insides in brick paper. I think it looks pretty good. And then I used a capping on the top, which I've painted and weathered as well, which came with the kit. But then I've done the roof, just glued on the sort of some fine ballast, and then painted it with the asphalt grey, and then we'll put a wash over that as well. And the shutter doors are also from Scale Model Scenery. And as you can see, I've put the railings all the way around, the crash barriers, which they start from there, and the crash barriers go all the way round with a little gap over there, because I'm going to have a little crossing area to go over the back there. So the railings come all the way back round, but they stop there. I need to finish just putting them along this side here to protect the wall from any careless drivers. As you can see, there's a couple of railings, one either side. That's to protect the workers coming out of the doors, so that vehicles don't hit the people driving them. I also have these, which are from Shed Ring Hobbies, and I've got a feeling that IBC, I think it's an IBC tank, that water tank is also from the same company, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think the ballast bags are as well. But I've got these, which come 3D printed with sticky on the other side. They're going to be a little tricky, because I don't know when you take the sticky off whether it's only on each piece or not. So, but they're going to go at various points up the incline here and round like so. Maybe another one, maybe there, sort of thing. Just slow the drivers down, especially the big lorry drivers coming down this big hill. So that's where I'm at with the permanent way depot. As you can see, there's a couple more of the Roy buffer stops to be put in here. They're not glued in yet. And this back bit here, the glue hasn't finished drying yet. So, but I've also got for that area, which I'll just go and grab, I believe it's a Nightwing kit, which is this platform here. And what I'll do is I'll just move these coaches down out the way. So we've got this little piece here, just going to go about there for the workers to get their equipment and in and off the train, etc. for this train. So gives them access, and hence the walkway that side going round to it. Along the back here, when this is dry, I'm going to put, and get something to point with, another fence all the way along here to segregate the main railway lines from the sidings. So that just gives a little bit of protection for the workers, etc., that sort of thing. And that's about it for this area at the moment. Still got to finish off some more static grass in the centre there, along there, which will be done later. I've done all this static grass here in these bits, but I've not added any extras yet, you know, the other colours and stuff that I normally do, but that will be done later on, when I might as well do it all in one hit with the other bits up there. But I think all in all, the yard's coming on really well. I'm quite impressed with the way it's looking. So what I need to do now, before I can finish a lot of the stuff along the front of the layout, is finish off this back bit. Now these two warehouses are now glued in place. I've also put that fencing there in place, but I need to do some scenics down the back because it's just not been painted or scatters in there yet. So I need to do a fence for this one, and I've got another big one that's going to fit to about in that section there. So they'll be going in next, and I'll do the fencing all the way along, and I need to do something along that back section there and finish that off. So I think I'm going to really sort of concentrate on doing that first, and then once I've done that, I need to start working on the platforms, which I've had a bit of a problem with. As you can see, all these jars sitting on there to hold it down. If you look on this side, my platform is up in the air for some reason. They started curling. Now I don't know if that's because I hadn't glued them down yet, but I've left all these on here to try and straighten it out. I don't know what will happen. Yeah, but it's starting to lift a little bit, so I think it will be a case of gluing them and weighting them down. But I've still got some detailing to add to the platform buildings, etc., the holes to put through for the lighting, so I haven't actually got around to doing that yet. I sort of put that on the sideline, but I do need to finish that so that I can start working this area here, because I don't want to work this area is going to have a small hill, so I don't want that in until that's done. I'm also considering, so see what people think, of putting something like the scale model scenery fencing kit, which would be the posts with the wire all the way along this side of thing, going all the way up the side of this track here. So starting off like down here somewhere, probably about here, literally all the way up here. So don't know what you think, whether that would look good or not. I did have one of the kits laying around over here, but I can't see it now. In fact, I've got a couple of them sat around ready to go. Anyway, let me know what you think on that one. And that's about it for this update. Just killed my truck. So it's all coming on really well. you know, I'm still going to get to the point where I can start doing some really nice running shot videos, as you know, the detail and stuff will be there. I haven't really wanted to do running shot videos when it's a mess or not completed. I just don't like it. Anyway, that's it for today's update. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you very much. Goodbye.